Okay, y'all, good afternoon. I have to talk kind of with a low voice because my daughter works from home, so she's upstairs working, so shh, I can't talk too loud. But I had to come on today. I saw this ad, not an ad, but an article, and I got to share it with y'all. And we got to talk about it. I mean, it's huge news, so we got to talk about it. So let me pull up the article. I don't know if you heard about it, but Justice Clarence Thomas is suggesting that the Supreme Court overturn same-sex marriage. That's absolutely huge. That's huge. Now I'm a minister, and Christians, we should be excited about this. It's and don't get me wrong, and people are gonna think, oh, that's so mean, that's so bigoted. It's not that we're happy for anybody else being sad about this, but in all actuality and honesty, I got to be happy about if this happens. I got to be happy about it because it was never an issue of benefits and having the right for them to be together. Nothing stopped them from being together. Um, it was never an issue of them being able to have medical benefits or the same benefits of being in a union. It was all about calling it marriage and putting that title on it. And to me, it was always an issue of the First Amendment. And if you know what the First Amendment is, it says that government shall make no law in respect to religion, respecting one religion over the other. They can't do that. So, because marriage is defined in Christianity as being one man, one woman, to even make marriage legally a union between a woman and a woman or a man and a man clearly went against Christian religion. And to make it a law was the government respecting the religious view that same sex couples can enter into a union of marriage. So it was always a, a, a religious issue. But see, they tried to make it, and see, and this is what I don't like about the LGBTQ movement. They try to associate and attach themselves always to racial discrimination. They try to attach themselves to sexual discrimination, like being discriminated against as a woman. I'm born as a woman, and people discriminate against me because I'm a woman, or somebody discriminating against somebody because they're a man, or discriminating against somebody because they're Puerto Rican or black or Asian, or things that they have no ability to control. So I got thoroughly. Now I've always been taken aback by the fact that the LGBTQ community has attached their, what's the word, struggle that you people use, their struggle with the struggles of Black people. And I always felt like that was such an unfair comparison. And I know they might deal with, some type of discrimination, or they might deal with certain types of bigoted attitudes. That I can understand. But to put it in equal standing with discrimination based on race, that's taking it a bit far. Because sexuality and people gonna get mad. You know me. If anybody's ever followed me before, you know how I am. The sexual orientation is a choice. It's not something that you're born with. And if anybody know me and follow me, I've been on Facebook for years, you'll know that I was in that lifestyle before. That's what God delivered me from. Based on my experience, my knowledge, and my understanding, even when I was in that lifestyle, I could never claim that I was born that way. I wasn't. I remember making the conscious choice. And I remember when those desires started to creep up. And I understand that it was never the fact that I was born with that. I can't believe that. So when people say they were born that way, no, you wasn't. It was a result of conditioning. And you have to understand the devil, the enemy, Satan doesn't take any prisoners. He doesn't care if you're 2 years old. He doesn't care if you're 1 year old. He doesn't, you know that by pedophilia, but kids get molested all the time. So he doesn't care how old you are. He'll begin to work on it. Especially, see, everybody said that God has a plan for, his children, which he does. But you have to understand, Satan also writing a plan for you too. And he got a plan for your life. So when you were born into this world, best believe Satan like, okay, yeah, I know what I'm going to do with that one. You see what I'm saying? If Satan didn't have a plan for you, just like God got a plan for you, then why do children get molested? Because in the plan for that child's life in Satan's mind, that was a necessary component of what he's looking to do in that person's life. So we got to think about Satan don't take no prisoners. So from the time and why do you think that when you pay attention to Disney and you pay attention to cartoons and stuff nowadays, they're drilling same sex, they're drilling homosexuality, they're drilling sexuality, or they're drilling witchcraft. They're putting all this stuff into children's faces. Satan is trying early to program your children, because my children are grown, 25, 28, 29. They're programming your children because cartoons weren't like this when my kids was little. So they're programming your children to walk in these lifestyles by normalization, by saying it's okay. Because sometimes what prevents your kids from doing stuff when they're little? No, you can't do that. No, you're not supposed to do that. No. Telling kids no is a very big deal in their upbringing. So that's the reason why the enemy is on this big push to make parents more accepting of stuff from their children and shaming them by making them feel bad if they don't accept the desires and behaviors of children, which goes completely against what God said. God has never said for us to accept the way your children feel and help them adapt to that. No, the Bible says train a child in the way that they should go, so when they get older, they don't depart from what you taught them. That's me paraphrasing, because I don't want nobody to say, well, you said the Bible said. No, that was a paraphrase. But so it's our job as parents, based on biblical education and knowledge, is to teach our children the difference between right and wrong, good and bad, and evil. So it's not about them. If my child came to me and said, well, mommy, I want to kill myself, am I going to be like, okay, baby, well, let me help you. Which way would you like to do it? You would think that was absolutely insane, wouldn't you? So when your boy comes to you and says, well, I want to dress like a girl, I feel like a girl. Why is it okay? Why is it no longer okay for you to tell your little boy, like, no, what is you talking? I'm not like, boy, if you don't go somewhere and sit down, you are a boy. What is wrong with parents now telling their children what they were born at biologically? Now, if your child comes to you, that's the way I came up. So when your child comes to you and says, your little boy come to you, your little girl come to you, say, well, I feel like I want to be like this, or I feel like I want to be, but it's your job as the parent to teach them who they are and who they are is not what they feel like. Sometimes I feel like $1,000,000. But guess what my bank account say? I bet you I can't go out there and act like I bet you I can't go out there and spend $1,000,000 I don't have, right? So we gotta get out of this what I feel like type stuff. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? You are what you were born to be. So even when I walked in that lifestyle, unnaturally, I still got my nails done. I still got my hair done. And I was so-called the butchy one. You know what I'm saying? Still got my hair done. Because I never gave up the fact that, guess what? I'm a girl. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, and I feel like because I never let go of that God always had that avenue to get in there and pull me out of that. Because I never let go of the fact that I'm a girl. And I never let go of attraction to men. I never gave into, I was always, you know what I'm saying? I knew who I was, but I did that. And my mother, the way she handled it, and I feel like if I had to advise anybody on how to handle, that situation, it would be the way my mom handled it with me. Because mind you, I wasn't a teenager. I was a grown woman with kids, So my mother, when I told her about, now my mom's a minister, she was in the church. Now, when I told her, or she realized kind of what was going on, she never accepted that. Now, don't get me wrong, she loved me. I was her child. She never rejected me or said, I'm not going to talk to you or I'm not going to. She even dealt with she was nice to the lady and everything. She wasn't, my mother was never nasty about it. Like me and my friend could go pick her up, take her to the grocery. My mother never acted like that. Like she was just too good to be around people. She never acted like that. But she had a quiet stance. She had a standard. And it doesn't mean when I say she was quiet, it doesn't mean that she was scared to voice, because she always voiced how she felt about it. But she voiced how she felt about it, but she never acted like she was too good to be around me. But anytime I talked to her about it, her answer was always the same. Nietzsche, you a girl. That's not natural. You're a woman. That's not what God intended. I mean, she always constantly stuck to what God said. She never came off of that. You weren't going to pull her off of that. And I never, and I think it's so bad when I think back on it now, I never really even argued with her on it when she used to say stuff like that. Because the way she said it was so, no, that's not natural. That's no. She just quietly and confidently and lovingly never accepted that. There was no way she didn't speak that out of her mouth on me, period. She never accepted it. And I feel like that's the way we need to be as parents. It's a way you can love your child through whatever it is that they're going through while never accepting foolishness that's not a God. And if you do it that way, you always got that in route to pull your child back out. And I really believe that's how it happened for me. So, and I just, I felt like I wanted to, put my testimony out there first, just so people can understand where I'm coming from on this. So I'm not that type of person that doesn't understand, what people, may be going through that are in that lifestyle. But at the same time, just like my mother was, nothing changes what the word of God says. And see, that's what's going on wrong in the church. And that's what's going on wrong in society. We're trying to make our sins biblical instead of trying to let the Bible make our sins go away. And see, and that's what you can't do. And see, as a preacher, that's something I'm never going to do. You know what I'm saying? So people sometimes will say to me, well, you being a hypocrite. No, I'm not. Because even when I walked in that lifestyle, I never tried to say it wasn't a sin. Because when my mama said it was a sin, I never argued with her. Honestly, what drew me out is because she constantly stood on the fact that it was a sin. And it made me go look it up in the Bible. And I started to study and thus started to come out. You see what I'm saying? So, and it's not like I've been perfect. It's not like I haven't backslid and did stupid stuff along my stumble and walk. But I never settled for the fact that that was my destiny. because I always held on to the fact that it was a sin according to the word of God. And I feel like as long as you never accept your sin as being right, you have that hope of coming out of it. But when you start to rationalize your sin as to not being sin, and then go as so far to try to make that sin acceptable to God, you then fell into a snare that you might not come out of ever. And see, that's where the church is going to have blood on its hands, because we have allowed the devil, the enemy, to convince us that it's not a sin, or to accept it or put a stamp of approval on something that God, and see, that's what my mama never did. She never put her approval on nothing. She wasn't going to approve of that. And so my thing is, we put our stamp of approval on what God said no to. And we think because we put a stamp of approval on it, that's showing that person love, and somehow you're going to be able to pull them out of it. No. You're cementing their sin. You're cementing it. Because when you put a stamp of approval on it, now you've made them comfortable in their sin. You see what I'm saying? My mama loved me. I'm telling you, my mama loved me. And she never made me feel like crap according to anything that I was doing in my life. But she stood on the fact of what it was, though. She wasn't gonna ever say anything other than what God said about it. And see, that's the way we got to be in the body of Christ. It's a way to stand and show love. See, but what we doing, we messing up. You see what I'm saying? So let me show y'all what this article. Give me a minute. So this is the article I saw today. It came out yesterday. Now this is Clarence Thomas. Let me make it bigger. Now this is Clarence Thomas. If you guys remember who Clarence Thomas is, he's the first Black person to sit on the Supreme Court. Now, you know the big old deal that they got going on right now about Amy Coney Barrett being brought to the Supreme Court. And everybody's trying to understand what is the big deal about this SCOTUS pick. And see, I'm trying to tell y'all, everything that's going on in politics today has nothing to do with what you think it's about. Nothing at all to do with what you think it's about. And I was talking about it in my earlier video, but now I'm going to bring some of the pieces together for you. They want you to think it's about black and white, Donald Trump, Biden, racism, peace. They want you to think it's all about healthcare, getting people healthcare. They want you to think it's all about these things when it's not. It's about helping to establish Satan's kingdom of perversion, lust. That's what it's all about. And see, you have to understand, people don't understand the beast system that's talked about in the Bible is a governmental system. And within that governmental system, Satan wants to rule that. He needs that to be the way he's the opposite of God. So if God says marriage is between a man and a woman, then in Satan's kingdom, it's going to be between, man and man and woman. It's going to be perverted. So that is the fight. The fight is never between Democrat or Republican. It's never between black and white. It's always between God and Satan. That is the eternal battle. No matter what type of situation you in, is either God's side or Satan's side. When it comes to your vote, God's side or Satan's side. The Bible says we wrestle not with flesh and blood, but with powers, principalities, wickedness, rulers in high places. The battle is always spiritual. And when you get caught up on the fleshly stuff, and see, honest, and I know black people, I'm black. Y'all see me, right? But when you allow yourself to get caught up on flesh, and that's what this is, it takes you off of the issues of what's going on in the spirit realm. What is going on? What is the fight about spiritually? And the problem that I'm having with black people, and I love every last one of y'all, but we are making our skin God. We are making every issue pertaining to us like it's either you, us, or the devil. It's either black or the devil. And black ain't God. Y'all do know that, right? Black is not God. But we have somehow allowed ourselves to be conditioned to believe that anything that is against black is against God. What? The devil wears black skin too. You know that, right? The devil comes in all races and colors, despite what Islam. You see, so many Christians got an Islamic view of the world. They got a Muslim view of the world because that's what believe the white man is the devil. That's not in Christianity nowhere. The devil came in every race in the Bible. And evil was in every culture, in every people, in every race, including the children of Israel. Had evil people in it too. So my thing is, we got to get out of idol worship, idling ourselves. And see, and that's what the whole issue was when Black Panther came out. It was all about worship of us. We put ourselves somewhere in our minds on a God status. So, and this is strategically done. And I understand that. You know, a lot of Black people didn't fail victim to that whole narrative being fed to you. But it's being fed to you for a reason. Because as long as they can get you to believe that anything that goes against what's pleasing to your flesh is of the devil, then they can manipulate you with the color of your skin. Now, the reason why I believe this whole Black Lives Matter thing is more strategic, and as today happened in the last couple of days, the reason why I feel like that's way more strategic, and I'm not saying that a lot of people say that George Floyd's murder was fake. It was or staged or whatever. And there is some credibility to that based on what I can spiritually see going on in the world, but I'm not going to say that his death was not real. I'm going to say that his death was used, though. His death has definitely been capitalized on and used by the Black Lives Matter organization. And let me show you how this all tie in together. George Soros, we understand who it is. If y'all don't know who he is, he's a very, very rich white dude. He's one of the elitists. If you want to think about Illuminati and the beast system coming in and together and all that, George Soros is all a part of that. So George Soros is a major funder of Black Lives Matter. And they try to bury it in the fine print, but you do enough research, you will find out that George Soros is one of the major funders of Black Lives Matter. Which, if anybody has any common sense, that should cause you to take pause right there. Because he's elitist, he's Illuminatist, they into some real wicked stuff. So if he's funding Black Lives Matter, you gotta know it's some shade in the game somewhere. So if you ever went to, and I think the news is really getting out about Black Lives Matter because I was hip to the game with them a long time ago. But if you read their website, they were all about LGBTQ. Their website wasn't even really about Black people, except for gay Black people. Their website was really more about proliferation of the LGBTQ movement. So if you pay attention to that, they only capitalize because if they truly care, and see, people get mad when they get mad when white people say, well, if Black Lives Matter, why aren't the Black Lives Matter people in there about Black on Black crime? Why aren't they talking about, you know, things that are going on in the Black community that have nothing to do with white people? The danger and violence amongst ourselves. Why is that not being addressed if Black lives truly matter? And see, once you understand and you go read the organization and read their website, which they've since took their belief page down. They did that about a couple of weeks ago because a lot of people was getting hip to game and it was starting to expose them about their website. But if you had read that, you would have understood that they didn't even really mention men in their belief statement. They said the mother, the child, the parent. Where's that at in that? They really made, so it was really, and their job was, their goal was to destroy the Western ideal of the family, the nuclear family of man, woman, children. Their goal was to disrupt that. And that's one of the main problems in the black community is lack of fathers in the home. And they're talking about they want to disrupt the nuclear family. What? So you had to realize that the Black Lives Matter movement had a sinister plot. So how does that tie into this announcement from Clarence Thomas today? Okay, so you have the Democrats fighting for Donald Trump to not confirm this judge until after the election, which Donald Trump has every right to do. He has every right to do. There's no the only reason why they was telling Barack Obama when he wanted to confirm that judge not to confirm that judge, because it was a Democratic president and it was a Republican Senate. It was never going to get done in time. That was their main thing. But the reason why this is so important and how it relates to the Black Lives Matter movement is because the people who started the Black Lives Matter movement are LGBTQ people. The three ladies that started, now I think one of them married to a man, but she still identifies as like bisexual or something, but she's married to a man. And then the other two, one of them is queer, and the other one is lesbian, married to a woman. So this gives you an idea of what their movement is. They're attaching themselves to the Black struggle, getting all these millions and billions of dollars in donations to lobby Senate and lobby legislators to help pass LGBTQ laws. They're really not petitioning the government on behalf of Black people. If you go look on their website, they had a petition that they had put in with the government that had absolutely nothing to do with race, or I'm like, it has something to do with healthcare or something. But then if you go and you look in the Healthcare Act, you will understand something, because I'm going to explain that to you in a minute. We're going to get to it. But this is all the backlash that's coming against Donald Trump. You got the gay people that can't stand Donald Trump. You got the pro-lifers that can't stand Donald Trump because he's repealing a lot of their funding. And so you're going to find out what the true black backlash against Donald Trump is all about. It's not about us as Black people. I'm telling you, we're just being used because they need our vote. The gay people need our vote in order to help keep their same-sex marriage and keep their federally funded transgender surgeries, and for the pro-life people to keep their abortions. It ain't about our color. Our color is just being pimped to get our vote. Get what I'm saying? Do y'all understand what I'm saying to you? The people that want to keep their abortions, that's the reason why. And see, when you see all these white people, I'm not being racist, I love y'all, because I know some of y'all love us and y'all want to see equity and fairness of all people. But when you see a lot of white people come on board, something that's concerning Black people, you need to raise an eyebrow, because a lot of them people are pro-choice people. A lot of them people, that's why you see a lot of LGBTQ people pushing these Black Lives Matter rallies and turning them into riots and stuff like that. You see, that's why you see a lot of white folks come here stirring up stuff, because they're trying to do anything and everything to make Donald Trump look like the agitator of the race stuff that's going on in this country, when he's not. He did not put a knee on the neck of George Floyd. Honestly, he didn't do it. He didn't even hire the cops that did it. He had absolutely nothing to do with it. And you can't say it's his racist anything, because it was Biden. Joe Biden, who wrote the racist laws. It was Joe Biden who put the racist policing system into effect that we are dealing with and protesting right now. It was Joe Biden. Donald Trump wasn't even in office. He's only been in office for 3.5 years, almost 4. He has absolutely nothing to do with the current police mentality and injustice that is ingrained in the police and court system. He had absolutely nothing to do with that. He didn't write no laws. He didn't do nothing. He voted for a president just like we did. He had nothing to do with that. But the person who did have a major role in it is Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. You see what I'm saying? Now, Kamala, she they say she thought some of it, but she locked up a lot of people based on Biden's laws. So the very two people that are most responsible in this election for what is currently going on in the street are the people that y'all are trying to vote for. You get where I'm going? So, and then you got Kamala Harris, who is looking to push full-term abortions. And then they want to do partial birth abortions. And then they want to even allow the mother. Now, do y'all know they trying to allow the mother to be able to kill the baby after birth? Seriously, Trump was trying to tell y'all this stuff in the debate, but they kept shutting them down. They want to allow the mother to be able to give birth and within a certain amount of time have that baby killed and still consider it abortion. That's murder. Donald Trump even said, I think once the baby come out, it's murder, isn't it? So you have to understand what is really at play here. You have the pro-choice people latching on to the Black Lives Matter movement, and then you have the gay people, LGBTQ, started the Black Lives Matter movement and using our struggle to push their agenda, which we ain't all even caring about. We just want our black men to stop getting killed on the street by cops unjustly. We just want to get fairness and sentencing in court. We just want to get treated fairly when it comes to getting jobs and stuff. We're not on this LGBTQ stuff. But when you're going about a Black Lives Matter gear, when you donate money to the Black Lives Matter organization, when you're out there pushing Black Lives Matter and helping them get votes, get money, all these athletes that's jumping on board, they know more about what's going on than y'all do, believe it or not. They know the Black Lives Matter organization is really about pushing the LGBTQ. I bet you they know. These politicians, why you think, come on, y'all, think about it. Why you think the Democratic Party is not saying anything about all these riots and these protests? Now, they're getting mad at Trump because Trump was standing outside of his house and took his mask off. And he may have infected dozens of people. And he was so reckless and careless as this one person. But notice none of these people are saying anything about the thousands of protesters on the street and these virus-infested mobs tearing up everything. Because most of those people don't even be having masks on. Notice how quiet the Democrats, because that's helping them with their agenda. It's all about getting Trump out of office so they can save their perverse laws. I'm gonna call it like it is. Protecting Satan's kingdom that's being built. He got the gay marriage. He got the abortion. He got the transgender. They got us paying for transgender reassignment surgeries. That's another thing they're mad at Trump about because he's trying to stop all of this stuff. He's trying to stop the federal funding of abortions and gender reassignments. But then y'all don't wonder why all hell breaking out loose in the world, because we are under the judgment of God. Everybody, they want you to think that he's against this Affordable Health Care Act. He's not against U.S. citizen having health care that covers pre-existing conditions, but they're trying to consider gender dysphoria a pre-existing condition. So through gender dysphoria, the government would have to pay for gender reassignment surgery. So there are certain, that's the reason why they say certain preconditions. They're not telling y'all everything. They're trying not to let them use gender dysphoria or that pre-existing mental condition to force government to pay for somebody to have a gender reassignment surgery. Or a woman that's currently pregnant, they got eventually have to pay for abortion if she decides to have one. You see what I'm saying? There's more to this than what they telling y'all. You got to pay attention. So, big news yesterday. Clarence Thomas, because they know they're about to get Amy Coney Barrett, who is going to throw the balance of the Supreme Court into a more conservative swing. Because it was too liberal in the first place. That's the reason why same-sex marriage and abortions and stuff like that were able to become legal, because the conservatives were outnumbered. So now with the Supreme Court swinging the other way, that's why everybody done lost their mind. I know y'all have seen the videos of people losing their mind because they found out RBG died. RGB died. RBG. That's the reason why they lose their mind, because they found out she died. And they know Trump in office. Trump is a conservative and he's against abortion. Remember when they called him a racist at the thing? He tried to bring up the fact that a lot of black babies get killed in abortions. There's so many things that they try to keep Trump from saying that y'all don't know about, that they bury because they want to keep y'all focused on, oh, he's a racist, he's a racist, he's a racist. And Trump a hot mess on his own. He did a lot of damage to himself. But they're trying to keep y'all focused on that, so you don't know what's really going on. So now the big news is that Justice Clarence Thomas is calling for the Supreme Court to overturn same-sex marriage. This is huge. Now, this just came out yesterday. So best believe it's about to be some scathing attacks on Donald Trump. They about to go after his jugular. They about to do everything they can to prevent this woman from being confirmed, because the gays about to lose their mind. And then in this article, if you read it, look it up yourself, they're even saying that they're going to probably go after abortion because they have the majority of the Supreme Court. And why is this possible? Because it was always a violation of the First Amendment. You can't make a law that's respecting any religion over the other. If Christians believe that marriage is between one man and one woman, and we believe that life begins at conception, that abortion is wrong, for them to make either one of those things legal is showing respect to the religious view opposite of Christianity. Because if you believe in same-sex marriage, that's a religious view. Believe it or not, they try to make it like it's a matter of civil rights, when it's really about religious views and opinions. See, because if they tell you that it's about religious views and opinions, then you understand how it becomes a violation of the First Amendment. That they're making a law legalizing a religious opinion. Can't do that. That's a violation of the First Amendment. They took the religious opinion that birth begins after birth. That life begins after birth. That's a religious view. And government cannot do that. So they're about to blow a gasket now, because Judge Clarence Thomas, because they know they're about to get the conservative majority, that they're about to be able to overturn same-sex marriage. So that's huge in itself. Then right here, you see where it says federal judge says Trump administration cannot stop funding reassignment surgeries for military members. Now, if you don't know what a reassignment surgery is, you wouldn't even understand, but that's gender reassignment. That is them, because this is the person that brought the light. This is a lady. This is a lady right here that is, I guess, becoming a man that's a member of the military. So that is what this stuff is all about. See, in July, President Trump surprised military leaders and members of Congress when he announced the proposal in a series of tweets that challenge from 6 active duty service members in Maryland was filed days after Trump issued a formal order reversing an Obama era policy allowing transgender men and women to serve openly in the military and to receive funding for sex reassignment surgeries. So that is the big deal. Now you're starting to get more of an idea of why so much hate against Trump. Then this is where they're trying to make gender dysphoria, they're trying to consider that a medical condition. So with that being a medical condition, that people can use that to try to get federally funded gender reassignment surgeries. So you see where this is going. This is going to be a hot mess. I encourage you all to do your own study. I can show you where Planned Parenthood tell you that they hate Trump. I'll do that right quick. I hadn't planned on doing it, but I'll do it right quick. Okay, here it is right here. So this is Planned Parenthood's website. See, Trump administration gag rule forces Planned Parenthood out of Title X national program for birth control. So that means that he's severely limiting Planned Parenthood's ability to use federal funding to perform abortions. So I'm telling you, this is a reason why everybody is against. This is all being funded. This is a funded attack by elites that you have no clue of in the why you think the Black Lives Matter is funding Joe Biden's campaign? Planned Parenthood funding Joe Biden's campaign. LGBTQ funding Joe Biden's campaign so he can get all of their abominations taken care of with our tax dollars. And they're screaming every kind of evil against him because it's all about the Black vote. That's the reason why everything is that's why the racial unrest is being stirred by BLM. That's the reason why the Democratic Party is not saying anything about what's going on with Trump. No, that's why he was saying, Joe, why you ain't saying nothing against Black Lives Matter? Why you not saying nothing against Antifa? Why you not? Because Trump know what's going on. They're not saying nothing because they're pushing their agendas and they're being paid to do so. That's the reason why he says that Joe Biden is nothing but a leftist puppet. And he is. He's being paid by Planned Parenthood, paid by Black Lives Matter, and Black Lives Matter is not about us. He's getting pushed by the LGBTQ, and a lot of them are even jumping ship and going to Trump. But he's being pushed by all of these groups who want to see their stuff reinstated and making us pay for it. So that's what I want to kind of bring y'all hip to game on. I'm gonna keep an eye on what's going on with the Supreme Court nomination. Anything that I find out new, I will let you guys know. But I just wanted to kind of give you that quick update. I didn't want this video to be too long. I talked too long already. So thank you guys. Be blessed. I love you, and I'll talk to you next time.